Guys, welcome to the channel. Let's try to predict our game week, match week 9 here after the FIFA week. So let's go. It's the first time here on YouTube, so I'm gonna explain how this is gonna work. We have our fixtures here. This right below the fixture is a chronometer. I call it chronometer. It evaluates, indicates who is more favorable and who is more likely to win or to tie. If it is more to the middle, it's more probably of a tie. If it is more to the right, so it's away with victory. And if it's more to the left, so it's a home victory. We're gonna predict this chronometer here to say who is more favorite, who is more likely to win. We're gonna predict the result and the score. So let's go. Starting by Liverpool and Everton. This is a derby it is. But I think in this case here, Liverpool has a huge advantage over Everton. I think Everton at the moment is a little bit unpredictable. Like they play some good games against Brentford, for example, but lose straight ahead to Luton Town. It's very hard to say how they're gonna be on this game, but taking consideration of it being on Liverpool's home and Liverpool's been in a very great shape these last games, I'll give the advantage to Liverpool here easily. The game is in Anfield. Liverpool is in great form. Everton is very sloppy, so I'll give the advantage almost totally here to Liverpool. And I'll predict the result to go home to Liverpool. And I think the score here can be a 3-1, classic 3-1 to Liverpool. This score is being appearing very much this season for Liverpool, so I'll go with it. Bournemouth and Wolves. This is an interesting one. Bournemouth is fighting for relegation, right? And Wolves is kind of in the mid-table there, below mid-table, that part of the table. I think this is going to be an interesting game. Bournemouth's going to play home. I think they're going to try to take some points here. But Wolves, I think they have quite a bit of confidence here after winning against Manchester City and doing quite considerable matches. So I'll give an edge here to Wolves, even though they're playing away here. I'll give it just like that, a little bit of an advantage to Wolves. And I predict that Wolves gonna win, and it's gonna be a close game, a 2-1 game here to Wolves. Brentford and Burnley. This is good one too. Brentford at home has been horrible. Horrible all around. They lost to Everton. I don't think they've won any matches at home, right? Am I right? I think I am. But they're playing against a Burnley team who isn't very strong. They're gonna fight for relegation too. So I'll give an edge here to Brentford, although they've not been very good at home. I think they may take this here, actually. They need to. So I'll give them an edge here, give them the victory. And I think it's going to be a close match too. I'm going to give it 1-0 to Brentford. Manchester City Manchester City and Brighton, I consider it to be an interesting game. It's gonna be the next game with Rodri. So Manchester City will have Rodri. That without Rodri, they've been poorly. They played poorly football in the Premier League and in the Cup too. So I think with Rodri, they're gonna go very strong. Although they're playing against Brighton, okay? Brighton who's been very consistent on the season, but last games have not been that great. They've lost in the cup to Chelsea. They've been massacred by Aston Villa, but they've got a draw against Liverpool. So overall, I think this game here can be a little bit troublesome to both sides. I'll give them advantage to Manchester City here, and I'll call it a draw, okay? I'll give it 2 draw here. Although Manchester City is gonna have Rodri, I think they lack a bit on the other parts of the field. Haaland's not been that great recently. He's not been playing very good in the big games, so I want to see how he will act here. But I think overall, I think a draw here is more decent than nothing. Newcastle and Crystal Palace. Newcastle, who in the beginning of the season has been playing poorly football, but after a turn of events, they've been playing very good lately. They've drawn against West Ham, which is a decent result, let's say, although they've played at home. I think this is a clear result here for Newcastle against the Crystal Palace, which is not a bad team, but I don't think they have what it needs to win or even take a draw here. I'll give the victory to Newcastle and I give it a 2-0. Nottingham Forest and Luton Town. Nottingham Forest, I think for playing at home, they're gonna at least try to take 3 points here. Luton Town, we all know, is not a Premier League team. They're gonna fight very hard to not try to get relegated. So I think they'll suffer. I'll give the advantage here to Nottingham Forest. I think they're gonna win here. I wanted to be more than one goal advantage here, but I think it won't, to be actually. I think it's gonna be a very close game, 1-0 here. I think this is decent score. Chelsea and Arsenal. Well, Chelsea has been doing some great games recently, not against very good teams. I'll repeat. The hardest team they fought was Chelsea, that they won by 1-0. No, Chelsea. The hardest team they fought was Brighton, which they won by 1-0 at the cup, and later they've only fought mid-table teams and relegation teams. So that has to be considered. I do consider too that they've been finding the way to go. That's a fact. So I won't discard Chelsea just yet. But they are against Arsenal, which has been one of the best teams in the league right now. Let's see how Chelsea is going to do this game here, because this is quite a decisive game for Chelsea. We're gonna know how it is like on Chelsea with this new strategy, with this new tactics. I want to see actually. Cannot be really sure about this result here, but I'm gonna give the edge to Arsenal here. I think they are a very strong team, and I think they'll take the victory here by 1-2 here. Chelsea can give a little bit of trouble, but we are still left to see how they're gonna perform against big teams, right? This is a hard game to predict. I don't think they'll do very great against big teams. I don't think. I think Arsenal may do even better here. Maybe at 1-3 to Arsenal. I think it's more like it. Sheffield United and Manchester United. Last game from Manchester United against Brentford, they've completed a comeback, a really impressive comeback against Brentford in the overtime. So you gotta take that. Everyone has been saying that it's gonna be a turning point for Manchester United. I don't see like that actually. That might have been just a little point away the line, I would say. I still think they're very lost. I still think. I'm gonna give an advantage to Manchester United here. I'll give it more to Arsenal here. I'll give an advantage to Manchester United here. But I still think this is gonna be a draw here. I can't take all the draw from my mind here. We have to see actually. We have to see if they've done it. They've turned the table, but I don't think they did. Onana is still poor, always giving goals. No clean sheets yet, so I don't think they got what it takes to perform. Actually, I don't think they will. Aston Villa and West Ham. I keep on repeating here. West Ham is a very good team. They've dropped points against Manchester City, Liverpool, Newcastle. I think that's it. The main ones, right? I think West Ham has been playing very good football. They've had hard fixtures, hard fixtures. I'll repeat that, and they still performed okay. Aston Villa, on the other hand, has been doing great too. They've been playing awesome football. We've seen that. They've massacred Brighton 6-1. So they're playing at home. A hard game, I'll say. A hard game. I'll give the edge here. I'll give the advantage to Aston Villa. But I do think West Ham has what it takes to draw this game here. I think it's going to be a draw. 1-1 draw here. West Ham, Aston Villa. Next one, we got Spurs. Spurs, Tottenham against Fulham. Spurs, they've been doing really great this week. This season, I mean. They are top of the league, playing awesome football. They won't have Bissouma against Fulham. That's a bit of a miss, you can say. But I still think they have what it takes to win against Fulham here. They are at home. They have maybe rested players because we all know that Tottenham has been suffering a little bit with the injuries, probable injuries. So taking that out of consideration, you may say this is gonna be an easy victory. Let's say how Son is gonna perform, how Hugh Richardson's gonna perform. I'm very curious because last game he lost some goals, but I think here overall it's gonna be a relatively easy win to Spurs. I'll give it one more two here. Relatively easy win to Spurs. And about the scoreboard, I think it's gonna be a 3-0 here. 3-0. I think it's reasonable. What do you think, guys? These are my results here. Liverpool winning by 3-1. Wolves winning by 2-1. Brentford winning 1-0. Manchester City and Brighton are on a tie here. Newcastle winning. Maybe I could have put a little more here, but I'll stick to 2-0 here. Nottingham Forest and Luton Town 1-0. Arsenal winning against Chelsea, but we have to see. Sheffield United against Manchester United. I still believe Manchester United is lost in the season. Let's see. This can be a turning point, I agree. Aston Villa and West Ham, I think it is a draw. A fair draw here. And Spurs and Fulham, it's going to be an easy win for Spurs. What do you think? Give your ideas in the commentaries and see you next time.